good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the Sunshine Center in the Sunshine City, in the Sunshine State. I'm telling you. And once again, the sun is shining on us here in St. Petersburg. So could we have picked a more appropriate location for this town hall meeting to take place?
Yeah.
I am honored to welcome the Florida Alliance for Renewable Energy to St. Petersburg, America's first green city. We were awarded that distinction based on us having one of the largest reclaimed water systems in the country, on our yard waste to mulch program, on our green space and park system, our LED traffic signals, and our inclusion of hybrid vehicles in our municipal fleet, along with other initiatives, including a recent announcement that we did out at one of our most popular pools, North Shore Pool, where we talked about solar and geothermal, which was very exciting. Today we are home to SRI, who's been a leader in alternative energy technologies. We are home to the Sierra Club's first net zero LEED Platinum office, located in our Grand Central District. The first LEED certified Dunkin' Donuts restaurant. And to numerous certified green lodging hotels. St. Pete also has many green homes, including mine. I lost my home to a fire in 2008 and saw the loss as an opportunity to rebuild my home on the same lot and to do it and earning LEED certification. At my house we have a rainwater harvesting cistern that features two 500-gallon tanks, and we use that water differently than you typically think of. Instead of for irrigation, we don't use it for that because we already have reclaimed water. So we use that water for our toilets and for our laundry. We have a solar hot water system. We have soy foam insulation, high energy efficient wall system, instant hot water, a highly efficient air conditioning, air handler and system, and CFL bulbs that are throughout the house. And we built this house in this manner for a few reasons. One is that at the time that this occurred, I was a member of the House Committee on Energy and Utilities, and to me it made sense to, if I was going to talk the talk, I needed to walk the walk. Another reason is the right thing to do, and that's really the most important. It's the right thing to do for our city, it's the right thing to do for our country and our planet. Even if all you can do is switch out your bulbs, you should do it. Even if you can only do a single solar panel, you should do it. But the main reason for us and many others was economic, the long-term savings. And it's why local governments are going green. It's the fiscally responsible thing to do for our residents. We've done it in St. Petersburg, but we have a long way to go. And you know, and even for those who aren't as green as we would like them to be, when we can talk about the economics, we can even sway those folks over. So we have to look for our opportunities to bring over those who may be a little slower to come to the realities that we're dealing with in this country. And there are still a lot of obstacles that we have to overcome, especially my friends and former colleagues in Tallahassee. Some of the discussions that we had while I served on the Energy and Utilities Commission were eye-opening because science seems to be hard for them at times to grasp. But fortunately, we have some very talented members of the legislature who do get it. We're fortunate to have one of them serving in our area with Representative Dwight Dudley. Dwight's been instrumental in keeping the nuclear advanced fee on the front pages. He may not get invited to the Duke Energy Christmas party, but he's doing what he was elected to do, and that's to fight for Floridians and to be that voice that's out there. So I'm happy that he's up there.
I should say that I put solar PV on my house about 18 months ago. And one of the things you learn when you do that is the price of the panels have come down by about 60% in the last 5 years. At this point, the big cost that we need to get our handle on is installation cost, which is really not coming down very far. I know that in the city, we, at least on an official basis, we have cross-trained our inspectors to try to make the permitting faster and to allow the same inspector who was you put the panel on the roof, can he inspect the roof part of it? Can he inspect the electric part of it? And if it's hot water, obviously the water part. And so we're trying to reduce those costs. One of the challenges in knowing if you're succeeding or not is that it's difficult for installers to complain to inspectors or to the building department if we're not really practicing what we're preaching, because next week they're inspecting another one of your projects. And so I know that we are working on that, and that's something that we're doing in the city, but that needs to really happen across the country. There's some new technologies in terms of attachments and stuff that are coming that some communities are accepting or not. One of our challenges is that because we have to build to a hurricane code, it really does require the best of the best, and so that is one of the issues. You may know that we've put solar using stimulus money on, and Mike has the numbers, I'm sure, the hard numbers, on lots of rec centers. And in fact, if you look down here, you'll see solar hot water and then solar PV on a building. Is it, I thought it was the next one down, but okay. And what I'm impressed by what St. Pete has done so far is that we always use, does it make economic sense? And where does it make the most economic sense? The most surprising thing to me, as Mike was trying to figure out where do we put these, was that we were paying different rates at different buildings. And so you had to sort of identify, okay, where do we have a southern exposure? How much are we paying? How much are we using? Can we put these at buildings that are using enough power so that we don't sell back to the power company, at a third of or a fourth of the retail price? And so that was a little complicated, but it happened. We did a project with all of our stuff. It really starts off with energy efficiency, because let me be blunt. Solar is the last piece. It's not the first piece. And so we have done dozens and dozens of buildings with literally hundreds of projects to make them more energy efficient in our city government. And probably Mike's going to want to tell you some details of that. But it's really been an unending, where can we gain efficiencies? And the good thing is that installation and retrofits, those jobs stay in this country. And so the combination of energy efficiency and solar energy and jobs is a very tight nexus. And so, I'm happy to see us doing that. We have been working, trying to attract some manufacturers to Florida. And we have a number of folks who are candidly interested in coming. The challenge that we candidly have is that they want to know, is there a market here? And do you have policies that make it work? And the answer is that we have policies that work against us. What we have is an awful lot of sunshine, and if you're in Duke's Energy's territory, you have the highest power rates in the state. And so the economics are better here than they are across the bay or across the Skyway. But it is, there are lots of energy efficiency things that we can do. There are lots of things that we can do to add solar to our buildings. But fundamentally, we're going to be playing small ball until we get policies at the state level that give us a level playing field. And let me finish by being blunt. The solar industry, what you and I would think of as the clean industry sector, which includes, efficiencies and renewables, all kinds of things like that, is growing at about 7 times the economy as a whole. That's the good news. The bad news is that when you get into specific sectors like this, you have now gotten big enough that the utility companies think that this is the critical moment. We need to kill the solar industry before it gets too big that we can't kill it. And I wish there was a prettier answer than that. But that's really where we are. And so, at a city level, we will keep pushing to see, where we can do, and I probably, I don't know if I should tell you, but I will, that, this week, Mr. Connors and I were, in a room negotiating with Duke Power because we're trying to get LED streetlights in town. And the logic's pretty straightforward. It's a 50% reduction in power. We believe it's an 80% reduction in maintenance. They will concede it is half as many trips over the life cycle to the pole. It's better light. It's even light that you can adjust intensities and turn up and down if you want to later at night. The only problem is that we've got to get them to factor in, yes, the fixture is more expensive, but over the course of 30 years, the economics are very favorable. But I'm not going to come to my citizens and say, here's the deal. We want to go to better lighting that uses half the power, half the maintenance or less, and pay more money. And so we have not reached. We've not gotten to the mountaintop on that, but that is what we are working on at this moment. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Mike.
Thank you, Karl. And me sitting 4 seats away from Karl is actually the opposite of how we work together. Karl's been the political muscle of St. Petersburg to push green initiatives forward. I've been fortunate to function in an administrative capacity to do the same. And I'm going to talk about energy conservation, past, present, future, renewable energy, past, present, future, fuel conservation, and to a lesser extent, water. Maybe 8 years ago, when the economy was starting to turn red, we started an energy conservation initiative, and it was changing out our traffic signal lights. We have 300 signal lights intersections. Each one of them had 20 to 30 150-watt incandescent bulbs. Now imagine back in the early 1900s when the cities of New York and Boston had those gaslit lamps, and there was a whole crew assigned to lighting those lamps, and then when they got them all lit, they went around and had to put them out again. That's what we were doing with these incandescent bulbs. We had a crew of traffic signal techs doing nothing but changing out bulbs. They had an 18-month lifespan. We waited for the LED industry to come up with an LED traffic signal, yellow, red, and green, with a 5+ year warranty. Over a year, we used those same crews that were switching out incandescent bulbs to put in the LEDs. The cost was $450,000. The electricity savings was $150,000. Within 3 years, we paid for the capital cost, utilizing our own crews to make that transfer. That kick-started the initiative of recognizing the enormous economic benefit with energy conservation. It was an absolute no-brainer. Now that crew that used to replace these incandescent bulbs, like the gas guys in Boston and New York, relighting lamps and putting them out, were then assigned to retrofit city buildings. We use that same crew to retrofit our parking garages, of which we have several. Mid-Core and South Core are very large garages with 1,000+ spaces. Parking garages are energy hogs. They require a high intensity level of illumination for security purposes. And because they're shrouded from an architectural standpoint, they don't have a lot of exterior light getting in. We had high pressure sodium lights and mercury vapor and halides that dominated our garage lighting systems. We use those crews to change out those garages with federal monies to buy materials. We selected inductive lights as the basis to replace because they're absent any electrodes, and they simply operate on a magnetic flux into a mercury vapor. So we had the labor available to make these conversions. They use half the electricity, and they last 4 to 5 times longer. That particular effort, from a capital cost, we had an instant return on investment because the feds picked up the capital. From an operating standpoint, we have to replace those bulbs 4 to 5 times less frequent than the ones that were in there before. So they have significant energy savings and significant maintenance, has over a 50% return on investment for that particular retrofit. LEED buildings. We were the first to garner a gold LEED certification for our Water Resources Administration building in the state of Florida. That was a $4.5 million project. It was performed by a local small business enterprise. But when we certify new buildings for LEED purposes or major renovations of existing buildings, we cherry pick. And what I mean by that is there's a whole litany of different points you can garner to get LEED certification. We only pick those items that have a favorable return on investment. So if there's a high efficiency HVAC system that has a 20-year lifespan that saves more than the cost of a routine efficiency system over that same 20 years, we build it. We spec that out, we install it, and we operate it. Fuel. We have 24 hybrids in our fleet. We have 17 on and off-road electrical vehicles. We were able to garner grant funds to install 12 EV charging stations throughout our downtown area and city public garages. We have a very progressive and successful city trails program. We have over 100 miles of trails, off-road, and bike lanes sharing the road that allow us to boast of the largest such system in the whole southeast of this country. Not only the recreational benefits derived from the trails, when you get a person out of a car onto a bike, based on our mileage and use of our trails, it equates to over $5 million a year in fuel savings. We have, as I mentioned earlier, 300 signalized traffic signals here, intersections. We synchronize those lights. We have 80% of those signals synchronized so that if you're traveling at the speed limit, you'll be able to get through it. CNG trucks. There's going to be another hit in 2017 with EPA demanding air emission standards that are going to make diesel fuels even more difficult to meet. There's going to be more appurtenances that come with diesel engines to filter these nitrous oxides and other noxious emissions. We're converting our entire sanitation fleet from diesel to CNG. We have leased out a facility, it's both a slow fill and a quick fill. We have tapped into a TECO gas main that runs right through our sanitation complex, and we are now running these trucks that have more than adequate torque and run basically at 1/10 the noise. They kind of run like a sewing machine. I don't know if you've noticed it in the garbage that may be picked up in your home, but Karl mentioned another renewable energy, and Jeremiah is very familiar with that. We installed 21 PV solar systems throughout our city parks. We call it our Sunlit Park initiatives. This was back in the days when federal earmarks were a little bit more prominent than they are today, and we were very fortunate to get a $2.5 million earmark to allow this initiative to go forward. And notwithstanding the inherent benefits of PV panels, these are crystalline, we focused on the educational campaign. So we used the Science Center out the northwest section of the city as our partner, and we built out there a modular unit in their yard so that they can actually, through a joystick, move the panels around. And then on a monitor with a dashboard in front of the student body, they can see how the movement of that panel affects the energy that it can capture and convert to AC through microconverters. So we then have the database that we share with kiosks that were deployed at all of the 20 sites that allow you to see the energy consumption, energy savings, kilowatt hours, etc., that we're benefiting from this deployment of solar systems throughout the city. So to cap it all up, the other renewable energy initiative we have in the design phase is a geothermal system. And essentially, we'll be extracting groundwater about 400 foot below grade that's at a constant degree, 75 degrees. We'll be running it through the heat exchanger system that then interacts with a series of heat pumps, then releases it back into the groundwater. So we pull it out at 75, we're going to put it back at about 79, 80 degrees. And it'll co-mingle with the aquifer 400 foot below grade, where that temperature differential won't be realized nor will be harmful to habitat or fauna. So that is going to, it's about a $250,000 effort. We expect that to save energy to the extent of paying for it in less than 7 years. So geothermal is now becoming a more prominent renewable energy on our radar screen. And we hope that the North Shore Pool serves as the vanguard in that particular effort. And that concludes my sermon, and thanks for your patience.
Here on opening day on Central Avenue. Come on out, come see the Rays. Get your bottom in a seat. Come on out there and yell for our Rays and support the home team.
I'm so excited. It's awesome to be able to have this crowd out and really be able to celebrate opening day. I know I've seen all of my other sister queens on a state level say, oh, go Phillies, opening day for Boston. It's just very, very exciting to be a part of opening day for any kind of Major League Baseball team.
Go Rays, it's a beautiful day, it's sunshine, it's opening day, and I don't know why anybody would live any place else other than this area, the St. Pete, Tampa Bay area.
This is fantastic. This is the first one we've ever been to. I took the day off and got Aiden out of school early. We've been planning this for a whole year.
I like Will Myers and Jose Molina are my favorites.
What's up, Tampa Bay?
My name is Infinite Skills. I did the Raise Up song that the team is playing in the Trop at all the home games.
Raise up, we got the AL East on lock. Raise up, we're winning and we're not gonna stop. Raise up, Tampa Bay, raise up. Stay with me. Raise up, Tampa Bay, raise up. Raise up.
I'm a fan, and I've been excited about them. And I moved here about 10 years ago, and just out of that enthusiasm, as a local MC now, I just kind of joined my two loves together, hip hop and baseball, and came up with Raise Up.
If you play the Rays, don't expect to win. The boys hustle hard, get it in. Competition saying, knock them again.
It's important that we make sure this team knows how much this community loves it during this year. So I'm glad everybody's going out to the game today, but we want you to keep going out to the games. Keep telling them how much you love them. Let's watch them win. Let's watch them go to the playoffs and ultimately to the World Series.
Very exciting, and we're ready for the game. Go Rays!
I think the Rays will do pretty well. The AL East is going to be tough, but I think at the end of the day, their pitching should be able to hopefully keep them in most ball games. Hopefully the offense, I think they've made a few upgrades there, and hopefully their offense can come around, but I think they should do well in the AL East. Make the playoffs for sure.
95 games, we're taking first, AL East, and we're going to World Series.
World Series, sure.
We are among the biggest Rays fan here in St. Pete. I'm down in Manatee County. They're in Hillsborough.
Go Rays!
Yeah, go Rays! Go Rays! World Series! Yes! Woo!
I think we're definitely a favorite to win the division, and I think we'll probably go pretty deep into the playoffs. I like the way the lineup's looking, and we've got a good pitching staff, so we should be good. I always go for the World Series, and that's where the Rays should be. That's where they need to be. So, yeah.
Welcome to opening day here at Tropicana Field, where we are expecting great things from this team. We love the Rays in this community. Come out to the games, please. We want to see you out here. Let's fill the stands. This is a great team.